All right, let's read this Mark Zuckerberg letter, shall we? I didn't read this yet. I've been waiting to read it live. I want to read it with you guys. So here's the tweet, though. House Judiciary GOP tweeted Mark Zuckerberg just admitted 3 things. Biden-Harris admin pressured Facebook to censor Americans. Number 2, Facebook censored Americans. Number 3, Facebook throttled the Hunter Biden laptop story. Big win for free speech. I don't take this as a win for free speech. I think that's a little... I hesitate on using the word hyperbolic, but how is this a win for free speech? We already knew that this happened. Like, okay, I watched the Twitter files come out. We did many episodes on them here on the show, and it was all about how the CIA, the FBI, the regime that controls everything basically had their fingers in every single platform there is. Every single one. Twitter was no exception. In fact, it was only after Elon Musk bought it and kicked them all out that he became one of their number one enemies. Like public enemy number one, Elon Musk. Now he's horrible. He's so dangerous in allowing people free speech. Yeah. I mean, basically, that's their argument. Okay, let's read this letter, though. I don't know if I trust this guy. Okay. One hacker way, of course. That's funny. All right, this is from Meta, formerly Facebook. To the Honorable Jim Jordan. Chairman Jordan, I appreciate the committee's interest in content moderation on online platforms. As you are aware, Meta has produced thousands of documents as part of your investigation and made a dozen employees available for transcribed interviews. Further to our cooperation with your investigation, I welcome the opportunity to share what I've taken away from this process. There's a lot of talk right now around how the U.S. government interacts with companies like Meta, and I want to be clear about our position. Our platforms are for everyone. We're about promoting speech. Did I read that? We are about promoting speech. Wow, he really wrote that. Okay, that's bullshit. And helping people connect in a safe and secure way. As part of this, we regularly hear from governments around the world and others with various concerns around public discourse and public safety. I hate that. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Okay, ultimately it was our decision whether or not to take content down, and we own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. Like I said to our teams at the time, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. You know, he claims that he didn't agree. He said that the government expressed frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. It doesn't say that they didn't agree 100%. It didn't say that we didn't agree, so we didn't do any censoring at all. He was just, he said there was a lot of frustration, and it's not actually saying anything, is it? They could have disagreed one time and agreed 100 times. And he could have been talking about that one time, and they might have been frustrated when they didn't agree that one time. This hasn't said anything yet. Okay, I'm just pointing that out. In a separate situation, the FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. That fall, we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption allegations involving then Democrat presidential nominee Joe Biden's family. We sent that story to fact checkers for review and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. It's since been made clear that reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. We changed our policies and processes to make sure this doesn't happen again. For instance, we no longer temporarily demote things in the US while waiting for fact checkers. The FBI had her diary, didn't they? Right? Didn't the FBI have her diary? Didn't the FBI have the laptop also before October? The FBI is corrupt. 100%. I just this letter so far is so bland and it's not saying anything. You're admitting that you messed with an election. You altered the way and you hid information that changed people's minds. That would have changed people's minds. This is election interference. I mean, he's admitting to it. I mean, ultimately, it's his company, is it not? So it's on him whether or not they altered any of these stories and demoted it so that their fact checkers can check what they were told from the FBI, which was obviously a lie. All right, let's do number 2. Okay, it's not as long. Okay, one more paragraph here. Apart from content moderation, I want to address the contributions I made during the last presidential cycle. Oh, yes! Zuckbucks! Right, Mark Zuckerberg basically single-handedly changed Wisconsin. He dumped millions and millions of dollars into Wisconsin, didn't he? Yeah, I remember that. The Zuckbucks. I forgot about the Zuckbucks. Yeah. Right, so not only did he use his company, Facebook, to hide information to voters that was probably very critical. No, not probably. It was very critical for them to make a proper analysis of Joe Biden being a corrupt piece of shit, and Burisma, and his son, and Ukraine, the dirty Ukraine dealings that he had, that he tried to hide before even Trump took office in 2016. Oh boy. Let's see what you have to say about this. The idea here was to make sure local election jurisdictions across the country had the resources they needed to help people vote safely during a global pandemic. I made these contributions through the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. They were designed to be nonpartisan, spread across urban, rural, and suburban communities. Still, despite the analysis I've seen showing otherwise, I know that some people believe this work benefited one party over the other. Oh, wow. He's trying to act like that money was impartial? Is that what his claim is right here? Now? In 2024, he's going to be like, "Hey, that money was impartial, unbiased. I wanted to help people vote safely." What the fuck? No, dude. You dumped it into the Democratic Wisconsin battle. One of the key states. You basically ensured that Wisconsin went to the Democrats. Holy shit. My goal is to be neutral and not play a role one way or another, or even appear to be playing a role, so I don't plan on making a contribution this cycle. Nah, fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. If anything, you should take that same amount of money and dump it in the other side. Because you tip the fucking scales, man. Okay, all right, so let me just process this letter. He admitted the government was trying to get him to change things. He said they disagreed. He didn't admit to anything. He didn't say that they didn't follow through, that he didn't listen to at all. It just said that they got upset when their teams didn't agree. So okay, but that's not saying anything. You still basically admitted that you were doing this stuff because he doesn't outright say he didn't. Therefore, he did. And then what else did the FBI warn him about the laptop? That it's just election interference. And then the amount of money that he dumped, the Chan Zuckerberg, is that his wife? That's his wife, right? This is insane. Respectfully, Mark Zuckerberg. Respectfully, Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg. This is what I was saying yesterday. I didn't believe it. I think this is 100% him trying to get ahead of things, whether that be a whistleblower that's going to become or was going to attempt to come out, which I still say bring it on, because obviously they're going to have something more damning than this. And this is pretty damning to me. This reminds me of Dr. Disrespect, when no one really knew anything, but he came out and said, yeah, I was a minor. And everyone was like, well, what the hell, dude? You know what I mean? So now here he's saying, yeah, I used my the largest social media company in the world to suppress a story in the midst of a giant election. A story that pertains to the headliner, Joe Biden, that proves that he's corrupt and his son is corrupt and their business dealings in Ukraine. It's crazy. And then this bullshit about I didn't know my money was being used on one side. Yes, you did. Are you serious? Bullshit. And if you didn't know, then you're a dumbass.